All right, so today we're diving into something pretty fascinating. Apple and their place in the AI race.
Mm.
Imagine you're prepping for a big meeting. You got your stack of articles, 9 to 5 Mac, Bloomberg. You got notes and just a sliver of time. And we're going to help you get those must-know nuggets.
The interesting thing is, Apple, the company known for revolutionizing technology, is admitting that they're behind, not just behind, but at least 2 years behind in AI development.
2 years. I mean, I know things move fast,
Yeah.
but for Apple to be trailing like that, I always thought they were ahead of the curve.
It's a different game, AI.
Hmm.
And to understand why they're lagging, we need to look beyond their usual playbook.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. This 9 to 5 Mac article is reporting that Apple sees itself as trailing these key players. But they're not just sitting around, right? They just announced that whole Apple Intelligence Suite at WWDC 24.
Right, Apple Intelligence. This is their grand entrance into the AI arena. It's a collection of AI-powered features designed to make your Apple devices even smarter.
So we're talking smarter notifications, Siri upgrade, maybe even AI-generated emojis.
We're calling them Genmojis.
Gemojis, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute. But while they're rolling out these features, they're also making a pretty interesting move. The article mentions they're partnering with OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, for some of the functionality.
That's a very strategic play. OpenAI is the front runner, so it makes sense for Apple to tap into their expertise while they ramp up their own AI capabilities.
It's kind of like,
Imagine it like this. While Apple is building its own house, they're renting a stylish apartment from OpenAI.
got it. Okay, so we got Apple admitting that they're behind
Yeah.
and then teaming up with a major player. But what does that tell us?
It highlights a key challenge that Apple is facing, and that's the difference in capabilities between Siri and ChatGPT. Apple's own internal studies have found that ChatGPT is about 25% more accurate than Siri and can answer roughly 30% more questions.
Wow, okay. So that's a pretty significant gap.
It is.
It's like Siri is playing checkers while ChatGPT is playing 4D chess.
That's a good analogy. And to understand the difference, we need to peek under the hood a little bit. ChatGPT's power comes from its underlying AI model. Think of it like an incredibly complex brain, trained on a mountain of data. One of its key features is memory across chats, which is achieved using context windows in the model. It basically remembers past conversations to give you more relevant responses.
Okay.
It can also be customized with specific data to be even more powerful.
So ChatGPT is really setting the bar high, but the article also mentioned this comment by Augusto Galindo. They point out that any AI is at least a year behind ChatGPT right now.
That's a good reality check. The entire field is chasing ChatGPT, trying to match its features and capabilities.
Okay, so it's not just Apple playing catch-up, it's a whole industry.
That's right.
But does that mean that Apple is doomed to always be behind?
Yeah. Not necessarily. Mark Gurman, the author of the piece, believes that Apple will catch up. They have the resources, the talent, and a history of overcoming challenges. Think back to Apple Maps. It had a really rough start. But through investment and innovation, they turned it into a major player.
Yeah, they definitely don't shy away from a challenge. Speaking of ambitious goals, the article mentioned that Apple wants Apple Intelligence on every device with a screen by 2026. That's a lot of iPhones, iPads, Macs.
It is. It's a very bold vision, but it speaks to Apple's long-term strategy. They're not just trying to catch up. They're aiming to integrate AI into the very fabric of their ecosystem.
Okay, so to make that happen, they're going to need some serious processing power, right? The article touches on some specific device updates. The iPhone SE getting the A18 chip in March 2025.
Yeah.
The entry-level iPad getting an update later that year. What's the significance there?
Those hardware updates are crucial. It's like building a high-speed rail system for AI to run on. Without the right infrastructure, even the most brilliant AI is going to be stuck in traffic.
Makes sense. So we've got Apple acknowledging they're behind, partnering with the best, investing in hardware upgrades, and aiming for total AI integration by 2026. It's a lot to take in, but here's what I'm really curious about. What's Apple's unique angle going to be? Everyone's doing AI now. What's going to make Apple's approach stand out?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We've seen the chatbots, the image generators, the code assistants, but what will Apple's flavor of AI look like?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say they're going to double down on what they're known for. Simplicity. Seamless user experience. Apple's not going to just throw a bunch of AI features at you and say, figure it out. It's got to be intuitive, something that enhances your life without you even realizing it's AI working in the background.
I think you're hitting on a really key point. Apple has always excelled at taking complex technologies And making them accessible to everyone. Remember the iPhone? It wasn't the first smartphone, but it was the first one that truly felt easy and enjoyable to use. They could very well do the same thing with AI.
And let's not forget their emphasis on privacy. That could be a major differentiator in the AI space, couldn't it?
Absolutely. In a world where data privacy is becoming increasingly important, Apple's commitment to protecting user information could be a major selling point for their AI products and services. People might be more willing to trust Apple with their data than some of the other tech giants who haven't always been so careful.
So imagine this: Apple Intelligence running seamlessly on all your devices, powered by AI that respects your privacy. That's a pretty compelling proposition, right?
It's a potential game changer.
Right.
And it all hinges on Apple's ability to leverage their biggest strength, their massive loyal user base. These aren't just users, they're fans, deeply integrated into the Apple ecosystem.
Right. So it's like they're not just racing to catch up, they're racing to catch up and then potentially vault ahead
Yeah.
by leveraging this built-in audience that they already have.
It's definitely a possibility. And that brings us to a crucial question for you. What unique strengths can Apple bring to the AI landscape? How might they differentiate themselves from the competition in the years to come? What do you think?
Okay, so we've got a company known for innovation and a stellar user experience, admitting that they're behind, but actively working to catch up. They're partnering with industry leaders, investing heavily in R&D, and aiming for total AI integration across their entire ecosystem, all while emphasizing user privacy.
And they're doing all of this while the entire tech world is watching. It's like a sleeping giant has awakened. Remember, we're still in the early stages of this AI revolution. We're just starting to see the potential of what AI can do. Apple is now on the field ready to play. And they're not just playing to catch up, they're playing to win.
This is why it's so captivating. It's not just about gadgets and algorithms. It's about the future. It's about how we live, work, and interact with the world around us. AI has the potential to touch every aspect of our lives, and Apple wants to be at the forefront of that transformation.
Think about it. This isn't just about owning the latest iPhone. It's about how that iPhone, empowered by AI, can enhance your life, make things easier, more efficient, and maybe even more enjoyable.
And here's the exciting part. We're not just passive observers. We get to watch this all unfold in real time. The AI landscape is constantly evolving, and Apple's entry into the race is only going to accelerate that evolution.
You, our listener, are in a front row seat, so pay close attention. Read those articles, explore those new features, and ask yourself how this is changing your world. Because it really feels like we're at a turning point. Apple entering the AI race is a big deal, and it's going to have ripple effects throughout the entire tech landscape.
Right? I mean, think about it. Apple has a history of not just adapting to change, but of dictating it.
Exactly.
They redefined mobile phones, music consumption, even how we pay for things. Now they're setting their sights on AI.
And with their resources and that dedicated user base, it's hard to imagine they won't make a splash.
Yeah, for sure. So the question is, what will that look like? What's Apple's AI legacy going to be?
Well, that's the question we all want answered, right? Will they meet those ambitious goals? Will they manage to integrate AI seamlessly into their ecosystem while maintaining their commitment to privacy?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a fascinating ride.
Absolutely. And for you, our listener, the key takeaway is this. Stay curious. Keep your finger on the pulse of this AI revolution. Don't just consume the headlines. Dig a little deeper.
Right. Ask yourself the tough questions. How is AI changing your world? How do you feel about its potential? And what role do you want companies like Apple to play in shaping that future?
Because this is just the beginning of the AI story, and the most exciting chapters are still being written, and that's what makes this whole deep dive so interesting. It's not just about Apple, it's about all of us.
Yeah, it's about understanding how this technology is going to shape the world and what it means for our lives.
Exactly. And as we wrap things up here, I just want to leave you with one final thought. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
Challenge the assumptions.
Yeah, don't just accept what you hear at face value. Do your own research.
Exactly. Because the future of AI, it's not something that's being decided in some far-off lab. It's being shaped by all of us, by the choices we make, by the conversations we have.
Right. And by the way, we choose to engage with this technology. So stay informed, stay engaged, and keep asking those tough questions.
Absolutely.